Testing, 1, 2. Insight! YouTube, welcome to the vault. We finally set a date for the Flow website. 1st of the 1st, 2022. New year, new me. I know. New year, new us. So as a thank you for your continued support over the last 10 years now. 10 years I've been in the game. It's a long time. I feel old. As a thank you for your continued support, we'll be releasing some content from the old TM Cycles member site, aka The Vault. So current members, you have access to that for life now. Any new members, if you want to access the 200 plus videos, there's about 4 or 5 years worth of content on there, ranging from anabolic steroid to nutrition, to training, to collaborations, to the Level Up series, the Retribution 2021 Prep series. It's all on there. All of our recent work with Gigi, as well as a forum page. So any questions you may have, please head over to the forum page and we can get chatting. But that is a one-off fee now, and the link to that will be in the description box. So what I'll be doing over the next few weeks is releasing some content to give you an insight into what we kind of got up to over the last 4 or 5 years on the TM Cycles member site. So feel free to have a little look. Like I said, it's a one-off lifetime payment. There will be no outgoing payments. It's one-off and you have access to that for life. So sit down, enjoy the 200 plus videos, get some food, soak it in, become a sponge. I'm going to leave you with episode number 3 of the Level Up series. Enjoy.
You take a sound, any sound, record it, and then change its nature by a multiplicity of operations. You record it at different speeds, you play it backwards, you add it to itself over and over again. You adjust filters, echoes, acoustic qualities, you combine segments of magnetic tape. By these means and many others you...
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I think I've changed my mind on my favourite coffee from the coffee mod. It was Costa Rican. Now it's gone to Mexican. I like a Mexican. Welcome to episode number 3, ladies and gents of the Level Up. I'm glad you've enjoyed episode number 1 and 2. Had some good feedback and response from both of them. Our next episode will be with Josh and Joe. That'll be our leg session that we annihilate every Friday. In today's episode, we'll talk a little bit about finances and saving money. And as someone who's been employed, a sole trader and a limited company, I want to give my 2 cents to those that are in either of those categories. I think it's an area that a lot of us can improve on. But today is Wednesday. It's my rest day. I rest on Wednesdays and Sundays at the moment. So it's a slightly elongated day in front of the computer. Some tedious tasks, food shopping, and also some work on the body, be it deep tissue or in the cryo chamber, or I'm off to see a new osteopath, which is a few minutes away from me. So I'll take you guys and girls along. So first thing on a Wednesday is like finances really. So I'll just go over QuickBooks. I'm one that would rather get it done twice a week. So my rest days on Wednesday and Sunday is when I go through QuickBooks. I then go on my G Drive and then note down any expenses made. I'd rather do that instead of letting it build up and have a frantic rush for my accountant. It also makes my accountant's life a hell of a lot easier. So we've got that, editing a YouTube video. Did some work for my uncle yesterday. I don't really do work for anyone anymore, but as it's family, you got to say yes. So editing a video for him, and that's about it. Like I said, Wednesday just pretty boring. Okay, so we're just sitting outside Alpha Health. My previous osteopath, Lauren, is in Kings. It's just far too long a distance to travel. She's fantastic, but managed to find one in the local area. This is about three or 4 minutes from me, which is fantastic. And this isn't the investment episode, but I want to talk about investing in your health. And I think it was LeBron James that was reported to spend 1.5 million per year on himself. I'm sure you've seen Conor McGregor talk about it as well, and it raises that point: can you put a price on the investment of your health? And I, especially in the latter stages of a training block, will increase my frequency of deep tissue or seeing an osteopath to once a week. Usually it's every 2. But towards the more taxing end of a training block like we are in now, I'll see these guys once a week, and it makes such a vast difference to the execution of a movement, recovery in general, and things like when on contest prep, I will pay for a David Lloyd membership just so I can reduce that fatigue, reduce that stress of going and doing cardio every morning. So I wake up, black coffee, Yihimbine, whatever other drugs that I'm taking in my system at that time, and instead of going to sort of like a spit and sawdust gym, I will go to David Lloyd where it's a much nicer environment. I'll then finish cardio, go and head to a sauna and steam, as you saw in the last contest prep, and that investment is such a large win ratio for me, in the sense that if I'm doing cardio every single day, day in, day out, hammering myself on that Stairmaster or the treadmill, allowing that ability to reduce the fatigue is massive. So yeah, it is in an ideal world, we'd all love to spend 1.5 million on our health. I'm not quite doing that, but I highly advise you all invest in your own health. So we're going to jump in there now, try and get a few shots. I'm feeling it at the moment in terms of a lot of the pressing movements, the OHP, the Sarbex incline. It is feeling it in my neck a little, in my shoulders, and in my tendons too. So we'll take the camera in there and show you guys and girls some of the work we get done. Yeah, perfect. All right. So it's as you know, we've been training together for the past 3 or 4 weeks, me, Josh, Joe.
Yeah. And I've been seeing the Instagram stuff.
Yeah. So it's just at the moment it's just I get this quite a lot when I go into gaming phases. Just tendons around the arm.
Both sides.
Just inflamed.
Okay.
Really inflamed. I had a problem with my shoulder for a while, with like a kind of imbalance that Lauren at King's was looking at, which has sort of stemmed really from sort of tightness in the chest causing internal rotation to the shoulder. But even now training the boys, they can see like one side's slightly weaker than the other. But the main concern at the moment is just the sort of...
Is the elbow stuff?
Yeah, I'm taking the band with me. I'm taking one of the green bands and just stretching the triceps, and it helps a little bit. But even like just the basic pressing, I can feel it.
Is it all pressing movements?
Yeah, we're doing a lot of overhead pressing and incline pressing at the moment. So
and it's all on the right side, nothing on the left?
Both inside, yeah.
Equal?
Yeah, pretty much equal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright, so can you feel that stretch come across the outside of your elbow?
Yeah.
Alright, just go nice and relaxed, we'll see if it will go. All good there?
Yep.
Cool. Okay, so we're going to start on this side actually. Any troubles with that? Alright, so we're just going to go and then flick, okay? Nice and relaxed. There we go. And same this way. Nice heavy head, perfect. Excellent. There we go.
Yeah, beautiful.
Feeling alright?
Yeah,
Wiggle your toes for me.
Yeah,
alright, we're good. Right, what we'll do is we'll look at an upper back one.
Yep.
We'll see how that feels. We're going to look at your ribs on this side too, which is slightly... It's the same manipulation as an upper back one, but it's slightly further off to the side. Can be a bit more sort of breathless, a bit more pinchy.
Sure.
How are we feeling around here? Any tenderness, anything particularly uncomfortable?
Oh, good.
Alright, so we'll just start with my big one. So what we're going to do is we're going to have you take a deep breath in. As you breathe out, I'm going to compress down like this, use my body weight to drop on. I'm going to drop you on my hand, okay?
Yep.
Take a nice deep breath in and out. There we go, there's a few there. We're going to come slightly lower down, alright?
Yeah.
Same process, but I have to add a little bit more down on the elbow, okay?
Yeah.
Deep breath in again and out. There we go. And relax down. How's that feeling?
Yeah,
okay?
Yeah, nice.
Right.
Oh, I feel like a new woman after that. I'll be going back to the Alpha Health guys when I'm back from Centre Parks. Although when I'm out there, I'm getting some deep tissue work. 2 or 3. I know you're thinking, arsehole. I haven't been to Ibiza twice this year. Saved a lot of money. Now, on the topic of savings, welcome to episode number 3 of the Level Up, in which we are talking about savings and taxes. And as I mentioned in the beginning, I'm an individual that has been in all 3 camps, in the sense that I've been employed back when I was in Lewisham College in GNC. I was a sole trader when I was working with Luke at the PTC, and now I'm my own island. I'm fighting on my own. I'm a limited company. So we'll start at the very beginning. The benefit, the nice position you're in when you are in employment, is you don't have to worry too much about taxes and about G sheets and QuickBooks, because it's essentially taken away. Okay, so your pensions, national insurance, and your taxes are deducted. So you're left with your profit there and then almost. It's only at that point where we need to start being slightly more careful and making smarter decisions about how we spend our money. So you see pie charts and ratios like 60-20-20 or 50-30-20, for example. There's no one size fits all. You don't have to save this amount. You don't have to spend it on this. But general rule of thumb, no more than 50% of what you earn should be on your necessity. So your bills, your phone, your water, heating, electricity, for example. Try not to exceed that 50%. So if you earn £1,000 a month, for example, profit, once taxes have gone, no more than 500 should go on your car, rent, electricity, whatever else, okay? The rest can then be decided. 30-20. Some people like to spend 30% on clothes and nights out with the boys and girls, and then save 20. Now that's interchangeable. That can differ. Like for myself, for example, when I was employed, I would have good and bad months in the sense that I've not got much planned. I'm not going out with the boys next month. I'm going to save as much as possible, okay? On the months that I was going out for birthdays, for example, I put that 20% away and I've got my 30%, okay? I think what is key, and this is a point that I try and hammer home on podcasts and on previous episodes, is that we are a generation that find it hard to live within our means. So we need to start making smarter financial decisions. Do I really need that C-Class? Or can I opt for a slightly cheaper car? Do I need to pay for the additional exterior and interior of my car, or can I keep my monthly outgoings as small as possible? We need to start not letting the pressures of society and image and social media have too much of an impact on our financial decisions, okay? So that is just a few pointers about those that are employed. We have that deduction already there, so it's we don't have to worry too much, but then we can have that 50-30-20. And of that 30 and 20, you don't have to spend 30 on clothes. At the moment, I'm going through quite a tight phase, I like to call it. I'm not really going out much, so I'm going to try and save as much as possible. And on the times that I do go out, Centre Parks next week, for example, we'll eat into that 30%. So what we'll do is now we'll jump into the computer and I'll show you how I used to run my G-Sheets for when I was a sole trader. So back when I was working for Luke and doing some online coaching, and that payment was through PayPal. So we'll do that. Then we'll come back in and we'll just discuss a few pointers on a limited company. Okay, time to teach you what they should be teaching you in school. So this is a very basic G-Sheet spreadsheet that I used to run when I was a sole trader back in the day with Luke. So I'd have my PayPal income. This would be from online coaching, for example, client plans. And then I'd have what Luke would pay me. So let's just put SBS. Let's put £2,000 here. And then the tax would be 400 from that, okay? 20%. Now, just on the topic of tax, for the particular year that you are trading, just ensure that you know what the tax rates are, okay? So between 0 and 34.5 grand, you're taxed at 20. Once you surpass that 34.5 grand, you then go into 40. The biggest misconception is for those that have gone past that 34.5, they have to pay 40% on the previous. That isn't the case, okay? So just worry between 0 and 34.5 grand, that's 20. So all the money that you earn up until 34.5 will be 20%. And then just make a note, as soon as you break that 34.5, whatever you earn from that period on up to 150 grand will be 40%. Okay, so just make a note of that. So going back to this example here, we've got on the left hand side my income, so 4 grand for this particular month. That would go up here. Okay, so you'd put 4. My tax would then be 800, and my expenses would be noted in this middle column. Okay, so iMac, camera lens, for example, all of your expenses. You could do this at the end of every day or a couple of times a week. I'm quite OCD, so upon wake or even before bed, I just jump on, go through my expenses, and it's there. And then I've got my outgoings to the right hand side. So this is my car finance, my mobile, utilities, council tax, rent, for example, and this will be the total here. Okay, so we've got income at the top, we've got tax, we've got expenses, and we've got outgoings, and then underneath we'll show you how much is left. Okay, so for that particular month I earned 4 grand, my tax for that was 800 quid, my expenses were 1500, my outgoings were around about 895, and then I'm left with 800. So I could either save that, we could use again referring to that 30-20, we could straight away save 20%, and then spend 30, or depending on how the month is going, we can then possibly spend some money on clothes or on nights out with the missus, the boys, with the girls, for example. That's a very generic, basic spreadsheet that I used to run when I was a sole trader. Income, in the middle, we've got our expenses to the right hand side, our monthly outgoings. Okay, so that segment was on being a sole trader. I think you could probably get away with being a sole trader and not relying on an accountant. I think if you are savvy enough with money, I don't think you necessarily need to invest money into an accountant. The tax return itself, which is probably a whole different video, but there are many different examples online and on YouTube how to fill your tax return out. I don't think it requires an investment of an accountant. I didn't have one back when I was a sole trader. It's relatively straightforward. The biggest confusion is what I mentioned in that short clip is the distinction. Once you finish and once you go over that 34.5 grand, you then simply put 40% away instead of 20%. And that's it really. Now on to a limited company, which is a whole different ball game. At this current time, I would recommend you get an accountant. I have an accountant who oversees everything. I run QuickBooks, which is a relatively simple app to use, and I think many people do use QuickBooks. There are videos online how to use it. Simon Says, if you type Simon Says, I think it's S-E-Z, onto YouTube, he has a fantastic section for those that are into QuickBooks. The whole setup with being a limited company is different. It's not your money, and that's what you need to understand. When you turn into a limited company, you have your business and yourself. There's two separate entities, okay? So the money that comes into my business account, I can't just take it. I can't just buy a pair of Yeezys unless it's a business expense. And being in the fitness industry, being a videographer, a lot of the expenses that I incur are expenses. But for the times where I want to go on holiday or buy some clothes, for example, I have to extract money out of my business in a kind of a clever way, and that's where the accountant comes into play. So we have two different options. We can take money out of our company as a dividend, okay? Or what we can do is pay ourselves a salary. Now, at the moment, it's about £732. If you are entering or becoming a limited company, just be aware and make a note and try and check what the cap is for national insurance. I think at the moment, 732. Anything above that, I'd have to start paying national insurance. Underneath, that's what I pay myself. So £732 comes into my personal account from my company. And in the scenario where I'd want to go on holiday or I want to buy maybe a car or buy something that's personal that my business cannot buy, I'd have to take a dividend. Now, a lot of people will take a monthly dividend just to cover their overheads, because sometimes that 732 for rent, for cars, for bills, that doesn't cut it. So they have to eat into that to pay themselves a little bit more. And then what you tend to do, or what I tend to do, is if I've had a few good months and I'm okay, I'm not spending too much, then every 3 or 4 months I'll pay myself like a £5 dividend. Or if we're going on holiday to Mykonos, for example, I'll take a chunk of money and that will cover spending and that will cover the holiday itself. So those that are a limited company will probably have accountants. Those that are sole traders and are thinking about going into a limited company for tax reasons, then I would look to get an accountant, because they'll oversee, they'll cover everything, and it just makes your life a hell of a lot easier. Just touching upon that with sole traders, that 34.5 grand, if you are earning, I'd say more than 30 grand as a sole trader, for tax purposes, I think it would be in your best interest to become a limited company. I think you're far better off becoming one. And those that are probably beneath, that are still online coaching and earning between that sort of 15 and 20, 25, I'd stick as a sole trader just because it's nice and easy. But don't be too scared. That what was holding me back becoming a limited company was just the fear of, my God, this is quite confusing. I had a sit-down chat with Luke and Gigi and managed to find a good accountant, and they kind of reassured me that it's not too complicated, and it isn't too complicated. All the money that you come in goes into your business account. You'll pay yourself a salary of 732. If you need to top it up, you'd pay yourself a monthly dividend. Okay, and then for the bigger purchases like holidays, for example, you just take a lump sum of money out. It's not too confusing. It really isn't. And the best thing about being a business is the money comes straight out. Okay, so you only pay corporation tax on profits made. Okay, so the money comes in. If it's a business expense like this camera, for example, the podcast, the Mac, it just comes straight out, which is really nice, and that is another bonus. So there's just a few pointers for those that are in employment, for those that are sole trader, for those that are thinking about or are a limited company. Those that are a limited company probably watching this already have their head screwed on, so it's not really aimed at them too much. But that's just a couple of cents. Shed some light for those that are interested, how we can save money and make better financial decisions. I'm going to leave it there. I hope you have enjoyed this particular episode. The next episode, level 4, will be our leg session. So me, Josh and Joe went to MuscleWorks, Gigi behind the camera for that one, which looks fantastic. Very excited to see that. And then I shall see you for episode number 5. Take care. Any questions at all about this particular episode or any others, just please head over to the forum. Or if you fancy a slightly more in-depth, then you can always drop me an email and we can go through some sort of video or Skype call. But I'm going to leave it there. I shall see you very soon.
You take a sound, any sound, record it, and then change its nature by a multiplicity of operations. You record it at different speeds, you play it backwards, you add it to itself over and over again.